The Selfish Podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land and waters that this podcast is recorded on.
Are you overwhelmed? Stuck in survival mode? Do you need to focus more on self and be selfish?
Hey beautiful people, it's Chloe and Steph, your hosts of the Selfish Podcast. Join us on our introspective journey as we explore alternative healing treatments.
We're on a mission to soothe our mind, body and soul. What really works? How can we get it together? And what do we need to thrive?
Through deep conversations and personal experiences, we tackle everything from face mapping to breathwork and more.
It's time to prioritise yourself and your well-being. Subscribe now and get ready to put yourself first with the Selfish Podcast. Hey there, beautiful people. You are here with Steph and Chloe from the Selfish Podcast with Chloe and Steph. How are you today, Chloe?
I'm great, Steph. How are you? Are we into it?
We're into it.
Oh, great.
We started.
Okay.
You good?
We're on, yep.
So I saw that you went to the Barbie movie the other day.
I took myself on a date.
Love it.
Yeah, it was beautiful actually, the date. I don't know how I felt.
How did you like spending time with yourself?
I like myself.
Yeah. You're going to go on a second date?
I think I'll take myself on a second date. Yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm happy.
Okay, good match.
Good match.
Good match.
Hilarious. But I don't know. I don't know how I felt about this Barbie movie.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I thought, oh my goodness, this is amazing from a visual standpoint. Everyone looked amazing.
Yes.
I loved the pink. I wore pink.
Very bright.
I saw you weren't wearing pink. I was a little bit upset about that.
Well, I went by myself and I thought like, looked like a bit of a dick walking into gold class.
Yeah,
I don't
fair
know.
enough.
And the interesting thing was, I think I would have liked it more if I went with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
It was I went to gold class and I went to a 10:30 a.m. viewing.
Yes.
Is that what you call it when you go to a cinema?
Yeah, viewing.
And it was
Session?
quite a session. It was a bit of an older demographic.
Yes.
So no one laughed.
More of a retired
all.
demo. Oh, really?
No one laughed. I was the only one that was laughing.
You were the laugh track.
Yes. And
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think that maybe made me feel a little bit uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, so I went with a friend and we were sort of chuckling.
Giggling
away.
together?
Yeah, giggling
Yeah.
together, giggling on our own. I didn't expect it to be as deep as it was.
Yeah, there is depth to it.
Yeah, a lot of depth. And it was, at times I found it also a little bit uncomfortable. So if you don't want any spoilers, just fast forward a little
True.
bit. We'll put the times in the show notes so you can skip through. But essentially in Barbie land, it's sort of the reverse of, you know.
The real world.
The real world, exactly. The women are completely in control. They are doing all the things and then there's just
They're on
men.
the jackhammers.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, which I loved. I loved that the women were doing all of those things and then they cut back to the real world and it is a man's world.
Yeah. It was a really stark difference, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, I was just thinking about this because at work we're doing a lot of stuff around AI at the moment and how you can use AI in a responsible way, but also a lot of the data points at the moment that the AI taps into are male-dominated data points. So
What does that mean?
So we are living in a man's world. So if you think about the temperature that offices are set at,
Yes.
that is based on a male's temperature. Males run slightly higher than females, which is why females are always much colder. If you look at the height on thing, it's done by the average male height. Good for me, not good for people. So a lot of these data points around different things are actually pulled from male data points.
So what do you mean when you say AI is on a male data point?
So if historically a lot of the data points we have are based on male statistics, then that's what's fed in. So it's biased information that's already fed into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I don't want to go down. We're talking about Barbie, but
I know
it made
that's
me
really interesting.
Yeah, but it made me uncomfortable because in a corporate setting, I have been in some of those settings before where it's all men telling the females what to do and all of that
and
kind of
talking
stuff.
about things that females experience when
Correct.
they've never experienced it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go back to Barbie Land.
Yeah, Barbie Land was very pretty.
Yeah, very beautiful. Very
Bright.
beautiful. And nostalgic. I wasn't ever a
Dancing.
massive Barbie player, though. I wasn't a massive Barbie
I
girl.
had so many Barbies. Mum was just telling me that she's ditching out my Barbie clothes.
No.
No?
Can
You
I
want
have
them?
one? Yeah.
Okay. PSA, Ange.
And please keep a Barbie for me. Because I was thinking, I want to go buy a Barbie, but maybe if someone's got a Barbie, I'd like to reuse instead of
What are you going to do with the Barbie?
just play with it.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
You just made me laugh.
What's wrong with that?
So you're just going to play with Barbies, like with Freddie, or?
Yeah, I'll just like a dog to my Freddy's toy.
Okay. I love this. So
No,
good.
because we need to be more playful. We need to be more playful.
Yes, yeah.
We need to. I mean, Fred's getting to that stage where he is more interacting with things and playing, and I bloody love it because then I get to go and play with him too and do
I
these
really
like
like
make believe scenarios and. He's probably not quite at the make believe scenarios, but I'll
but
help
you can
fill them in
introduce
for
him to
him.
that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But no, on the whole, yes, it was enjoyable for sure. It was an easy watch, wasn't it? Well, at times I got teary at one point.
Yeah.
as
There was that
well.
monologue, which was amazing.
The
By
monologue. Yes, who's that by?
America Ferrera. So she was Ugly Betty.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was great.
Yeah, that resonated.
Yeah, enjoyed the daughter as well.
Yes.
Her daughter.
Yeah. I enjoyed Weird Barbie immensely.
Weird Barbie was fantastic.
And the Ken was hilarious. I thought Ken, all the Kens.
The Kens. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken. It was quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It was.
I think I walked out of it just feeling a bit like, oh, that was a bit unusual.
Yeah.
Didn't really know how it was going to play out. But now sitting with it, it was good.
Yeah.
Like to see it again.
I would watch it again.
Yeah, me too.
I
think
would
I'd
watch it
take
again.
more from
Yeah.
seeing it again.
I would recommend other people to watch it again. I would recommend the movie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Yeah. 4 pink stars. Pink sparkly stars.
Okay, what else did we want to talk about today?
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit of a follow-up. So a few episodes ago, I think it was the face mapping episode, you sort of talked a little bit about your menstrual cycle and cyclical living and how you build it in.
Yes.
Which, to be honest, like I think as I said on the episode, I was tracking it when I was, actively trying to become pregnant. But I'd never really thought about how we lean into the different phases and how we maximise what is going on, like work with it instead of against it.
The energy of it.
Yeah. And one of our beautiful
So do you
listeners,
now resonate with it? Do you feel like that really it resonates with you?
Well, it does. It does. I mean, I still don't have my period back, so I'm waiting for that
You
to
work with a
happen.
lunar cycle.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yes, but I think once it's back in my body, I look forward to seeing how I can use it to my advantage.
Yeah. So cool.
And one of our amazing listeners, and when I picture our listeners, I'm not sure about you, but I think they are all highly, highly intelligent. I see them as being very eloquent with their words and their thoughts. I also see them as being very attractive.
Yeah.
Imperfect in many ways as well. But I really, think all of you guys are amazing. So thank you so much for listening to us. But this particular listener, she sent me a super, super interesting article, which was about exercise with your menstrual cycle.
Love that.
Really, really interesting. The way that they sort of have phased the cycle, they've just put it into 2 phases. The first half of your cycle and the second half of your cycle.
Okay.
So they sort of say...
So the first half is menstrual and follicular.
Correct.
And then the second half would be ovulation and luteal.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So they say that in the follicular phase, there is lower level of hormones during the first phase of your menstrual cycle. Your body is primed to maximise hard training efforts. So this means that your body is better to able to access stored carbohydrates, making this an ideal time for high intensity training.
During the first part?
The first part. It's also
when you've got your period?
Yes.
Oh.
The first phase. So it might be after you've bled, but it's the first part.
Yeah, well,
of
they
it.
say kind of days 1 and 2, like your energy starts to increase after days 1 and 2 of your bleed.
So that's what they're saying.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense.
It's also easier to build and maintain muscle, which means it's a great time to emphasise muscle building exercise.
Yeah.
And the follicular phase they're saying it starts on day 1 of your cycle. You've recently lost some blood, so your body has a greater need for iron. Also, due to the shedding of the uterine lining during this time, there are a few days of increased inflammation. But during this lower hormone phase, hydration is easier and you have a more even, cooler body temperature.
Cool.
So then for the luteal phase, the back half of your menstrual cycle, your body is preparing for your next period of pregnancy. if you happen to conceive during the cycle. And this means that your hormones are running at a much higher level due to increased estrogen and progesterone. Progesterone.
Yeah.
More hormones means a decrease in anabolic or muscle building capacity. This means it's time to take it easier, focusing on lower intensity workouts and more recovery time.
Like yoga, Pilates maybe, or walk.
And also, rather than being able to access your stored carbohydrates, your increase in hormone has the energy locked up tight. So your body's like, there's so much other stuff going on. Yes. You're not getting any of the stored carbohydrates. So your body needs fuel from extra carbs and calories from the outside, meaning your plate. Plus your body also needs more water during the luteal phase and hormones. More hormones means a greater risk of dehydration.
Right, so drink up in the latter half of your phase.
So, and this, we'll link to this article in the show notes, but it's super interesting. So it's sort of saying, first half, go for it. You know, this is a great time to use the energy from your body, high intensity workouts. Make sure that, you know, you're having a lot of water, having more iron, and the luteal phase is sort of just eat up, listen to your body and tread lightly.
Beautiful.
So super interesting. So if you've got, you know, a marathon coming up or a big thing or even just looking at your training and what you're doing, like to me, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is really cool stuff. And this is all science.
You kind of want to do your like endurance part earlier in your cycle. Yeah. Absolutely. Love that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Els, for sending that through. That was very, very informative.
I love it. I love getting that information.
And just you know, you talked about how you use it from a business perspective, but then also from that physical perspective.
Yeah. And then, then you can look at it from a planning perspective or creation perspective for those out there who are in the creative space too. You're going to be more creative during different phases of your cycle. So
to me, that's just it's been a real mic drop moment when you talked about that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a game changer for sure.
Because why do we try and work against our bodies?
Well, because again, it's a patriarchy, and we
are designed to. And we haven't been taught about it.
No, we haven't been taught about it. It should be like actual curriculum in schools. So I can't remember if I said this, but I talked to my boys about it. So I'm on day 1 today, actually. So started my bleed today, and I talked to Raph about it this morning.
So good.
Yeah, and Adam's on board. He so sweet. I can't remember if I told you this too. He came home the other day and he was like, "Oh, so when are you bleeding? When's your cycle?" And so he's put it in his calendar.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, because I can be a right royal bitch in the days leading up to my bleed. So he's been really kind to me the last
beautiful.
week. Yeah, it is. So I think that there's, an education piece here and really knocking the mics here.
Knocking the mics.
Yeah, I think it's something that's really great that we're talking about it, and something that I'm really passionate about, actually.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Absolutely.
Because as I said, I don't know if there was some shame around it or just I hadn't really had conversations like that before. But
it can feel a bit uncomfortable, I think, too. Like, I mean, it's a bit weird. We're talking about bleeding out of our vaginas.
Yes.
Which is, no, it's not weird.
It's not weird.
Normal.
It's normal.
But we think of it as maybe dirty because that's how I thought about it.
Well, I remember people always calling it, your rags.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about it like that anymore.
No.
Let's bin that term.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shedding of our body.
It really is.
And regeneration.
We need to step into it.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for that.
Love it. Pleasure. You wanted to chat to me about the word sorry.
I sure did. So it sort of first came very conscious to me when I was writing a text message to you. So this was last week. And I needed to edit the episode, and I said, "Oh, Chloe, I'll get it done and I'll send it to you tonight." No, didn't need to be done, but I said I'll do it. So morning came, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it. Quite frankly, I wanted to lie on the couch and
rest,
not eat chocolate because I can't have any sugar, but have a cup of tea, just connect with Huey and just go to bed early. So as I was in the morning just letting you know that I didn't have it in your inbox, I started typing the text, and it basically said, "Hey, Chloe, hope you've had a great night, blah, blah, blah. I'm really sorry. I didn't get to editing the episode. You know, I just wanted to let you know and blah, blah, blah. And as I'm writing this, I'm like, why am I saying sorry? Like, I'm not sorry.
No.
Like, it's just a filler. You don't care.
Did not care.
You'll get it to you. And then I also started writing an excuse. And I was like, no, back it up, girl. Back it up. So I rewrote the text about 3 times. So instead of saying, I just wanted to let you know, I just said, hey, Chloe, I haven't edited the episode. Full stop. I'll do it later today and I'll let you know. Whereas before it was, hey, Chloe, just wanted to let you know that I didn't get around to editing the episode. I'm so sorry. I was doing this and I was doing that. And I just thought, no, stop.
Yeah.
And this is something that I consciously stopped doing in work emails many years ago.
Yes.
And instead of saying sorry, because sorry is about me, and I think I'll get to that for a moment, but I think with the sorry, we need to think about why are we saying sorry?
Well, there was no need for you to say sorry.
No.
There's no need to apologise.
Is it a filler? Is it a filler? Is it a habit? Is it to make myself feel better?
And maybe there's some shame.
Yeah, I think it's
around not having completed what you said you were going to, but I really didn't give a shit.
Or some guilt or whatever it is. So I think when we start saying sorry, firstly we need to catch ourselves. Then we need to go, well, why are we doing this? Are we just using it as a filler? Is it to make myself feel better because I didn't do what I said I was going to do? Is it because I lack confidence? And can I use another word? So can I use whoops? Like if I bump into you in the supermarket, like I think we often will say, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I think I've said about sorry to you 10 times this morning.
I have said so many sorries.
Yeah, and I don't need to say sorry.
No,
say, excuse me,
we haven't done
pardon
anything
me.
wrong.
So I think if we're using it as a filler, what are other words we can use? Because we don't need to be saying sorry all the time.
We overuse it, don't we?
It's so overused. I think another thing is thinking about, instead of making it about me, how can I, and this is what I do in emails, if I haven't responded to someone in a timely manner, instead of saying sorry for not getting back to you in time or sorry for the delay in getting back to you, turn it around to them. Thank you for your patience. So instead of saying sorry, I say thank you. So sorry for being late. Thank you for waiting.
Yes.
Sorry for venting. Thank you for listening. So it takes it from about me to actually the person who you're having that conversation with.
Do you know when you spoke to me about this the other day, and I actually wrote an email to someone who had emailed me and I said, thank you for your patience. Yeah. And then they responded in such a beautiful manner and it was really lovely. Yeah. It was a lovely interaction and I didn't feel the guilt. I think it is guilt. I think guilt might be the underlying a lot of the time. But anyway, one of those shitty emotions that we probably... Yeah. But and that's really great, just that awareness. Thank you.
There are times where saying sorry is totally appropriate.
Yes, and necessary.
Yeah. But there's so many times when it's not.
Absolutely.
Like I made Chloe the world's worst coffee.
It really wasn't that bad, but I've already had 2 coffees today and then having the third was potentially just a bit of an overkill for me.
Yeah, so I could say sorry for the bad coffee, or I could say, you know what, that wasn't the best coffee. Thank you for bearing with me.
Thank you for trying.
Thank you for trying.
Yes.
And thank you for not being rude about my face. So it's reframing that whole situation.
I love it.
And it's making less about me, more about you. And another thing is it's if you're in a situation where someone's had a loss or something bad happened to them, we very often say, I'm so sorry this happened to you. That's coming from a place of sympathy.
I statement. Yeah.
So instead, flip it to them, and that must be really difficult what you're going through.
Yes.
So it's about flipping from sympathy to empathy, which is similar to flipping.
Perfect. I love that. Yes.
Similar flipping from sorry to thank you. So I dare everyone who is listening to this to start to notice when you say sorry.
I really enjoy this.
And as I said, already this morning, I reckon I've said it about, 10 times. Catch yourself and think, what other words could I use? And you can do a brainstorm.
I love that. There's 2 other words that I want to drop in here while we're talking about this. So the word just.
Oh, just.
Because just kind of like it waters everything down.
Yes.
And it is just a word we need to delete and should.
We just need to delete
just need to delete just. And also should as well. Like I should go and do that. Well, really? Like should you go and do it? It's another like kind of questioning self and being like, well, if I'm saying I should do that, do I really want to do it? Is it in alignment with what I truly desire to be doing? So just that kind of, it's just the awareness, I think, too, isn't it? And our words create our reality as well. So the more that we're using these kind of words that we're talking, you know, things will happen around us in a way that either is positive or negative.
And I find that I use just when I'm maybe not feeling confident.
Yes, 100%
and so I will
we do.
always edit my emails, and I think about it in the email context because you can go and edit it. So I just wanted to get in touch. I just wanted to touch base.
I'm just emailing you.
Delete.
Yeah.
I am getting in touch with you about this.
Yes. Oh, it's a game changer.
So much more assertive. And again, we talk about that, you know, would men be using, I just wanted to touch base? No, they'll be saying, Chloe, where the fuck is this thing?
Yeah. We tend to try and soften it maybe.
Yeah.
But I think when we do that, it is. It really is. So thinking about our directness, I think, is really, The Barbie movie made me think about that too.
Me too.
So,
yeah, me too.
Food for thought.
Some very good food for thought. Very good food. And also like try is another one. I'll try and do that. What does Yoda say? I just Googled it because I couldn't remember. Do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
I'll try to do this. Well, are you going to try to do it or are you actually going to do it?
That. Yeah. Is it a yes or a no?
Yeah. Are you doing it or you're not? There's so many, like language is so interesting.
It is so interesting.
And I think when we explore, and I think also just this podcast has made me, when we've been listening back to it, you notice some of those fillers that you put in there. Absolutely. Yeah. So super interesting. So it's really I dare you all and I challenge you, think about some of those crutches that you have with different words and think about how necessary they are and then how you can either edit yourself, like physically edit it, how you can reframe it, how you can replace those words. So next time you knock someone in the supermarket accidentally or, you know, when you're trying to squeeze past the door with someone else at the same time, you don't need to say sorry. No. Excuse me, pardon me, thank you, thanks for holding the door instead of sorry for pushing past, you know, thanks for letting me through. Reframe it because it does, beautiful. It changes the way you, turns it from a negative into a grateful positive.
Beautiful. Love it. Enlightening. Thanks, Steph. Love it.
No worries. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Loved it. I've definitely taken some takeaways into my life. Astrological update. Yeah. So when you're listening today, last night we would have had a full moon.
It's a glorious full moon.
Yeah, super moon in Aquarius. You know, it's a super moon. We've actually got 2 super moons this month. So we had one last night and we've got one on the 31st, I think. So I dived into this because I was like, this seems unusual. So it's quite rare. So this last occurred with 2 full moons in 1 month in January 2018. And the next is not set to happen again until 2037.
Wow.
Yes. Last year, I think you'll remember, or maybe even earlier in the year, we had 2 new moons in 1 month.
Yes.
Do you remember that? I think we talked about that on the podcast. So not again until 2037. How wild is that?
That's wild. Yeah. And do you know what they call the second full moon in 1 month?
Oh, no.
A blue moon.
Oh, blue moon. Great.
Yeah, that's so once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Doesn't happen very often. There you go. I love that. So we've got it in Aquarius. So there is a strong desire as an individual to be set free. So we are free from people pleasing, free from judgment, free from consumption.
Set me free, baby.
So good, isn't it? So Aquarius.
That is great.
It's really nice, really nice. So Aquarius also kind of is very much about uniqueness. So it's about stepping into who you are as you and who I am as me and owning it, you know, like, being progressive. It's got a bit of a humanitarian sphere to it as well. So it's also about looking at how we all come together as a collective as well. So it's really cool.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So being you.
And so full moon is about releasing as well.
Yeah.
So we could howl to the moon.
We can howl. But, shed and release that judgment, that need to people please, like just let that go and just step into being you, all your quirks and all, and me, all my quirks and all, because how boring it would be if we're all the bloody same,
Agree.
So, it's a beautiful full moon. And on that note, shall we pull a little card for this
please.
full moon?
Yes,
so you can
please.
also tap into the energy of the full moon for like 48 hours either side. So you can still do some releasing when you're listening, hopefully on tomorrow.
Awesome. May I pull the card this week?
Yes, you may.
I remember this deck.
Hang on.
I remember this deck.
Here we go. We'll just do it like that.
Okay.
So we've got the Gabby Bernstein deck, Super Attractor.
Okay. All right. My ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts.
My ability to receive is what's the word? My ability
to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts.
Okay. Right. That's interesting. I guess,
So what does that mean?
The
So
more
good.
we think with a positive light, the easier it is to receive.
Yeah. Or just thoughts that feel good. Because that's good. The more I practice good feeling
she's
thoughts.
often talking about manifestation. So if we're thinking good thoughts,
then we can receive them.
Yeah, and we rise our frequency or vibration. And so therefore, as we rise that raise the frequency, raise the frequency, then we are able to receive at that frequency.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay. Yep.
Makes sense?
Yep. So we need to bring ourselves up.
Think
and
good
then
thoughts,
we can receive.
And then we're going to receive more goodness in our life.
Cool.
I love that.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thanks, Gabby. All right. What are we jumping into today, Steph?
Well, today we're talking about energy healing.
We are.
So what is energy healing? Do we have a definition for this one?
We don't, because it's a bit random. I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can.
Yep.
Bear with me, guys, because it is a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give you a bit of background.
Okay.
So I work with a business coach.
Yes.
And my business coach has us within the group meet with her energy coach once a month.
Okay.
So I've been doing this now for, I don't know, 6 months maybe.
And this is a group session or one-on-one, sorry?
One-on-one.
One-on-one,
yes. And my energy coach is based in Texas.
Howdy, partner.
Yeah. And she is so awesome. She's so awesome. I'm not going to actually try and do an American accent because I really suck at
definitely don't do what I just did.
No, I really loved that. You tried really hard. Well done. So she's based in Texas.
Okay, so what time is this conversation happening?
Well, usually morning.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've done like really early mornings, like 5 a.m., similar to, I guess, your face mapping because she was in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I've done, I think my last one was about 8:30.
Okay.
So morning.
So that's a respectable
That
hour.
was respectable.
Yeah.
The 5 a.m. one was a bit of a...
That's
I was
hard.
like, oh. But, she is so unique and beautiful and so eloquently spoken with her words and she just gets me. I think she gets everyone who she talks to.
From at an energetic level.
Energetic, not just that. I feel like she
Human
sees me
Yeah.
more than I see me.
Yeah. How does that feel to be seen?
Comforting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been to a psychologist or anything before.
Yeah.
So she kind of feels like a therapist in a way, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I could talk to her about anything and she would just accept it and honour that.
Yeah. So no judgment.
There's no judgment.
Yeah.
It's actually really liberating to speak to someone who has no judgment of you.
And also maybe is it also nice having someone so far away?
So far away. She doesn't know my life at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I tell her about my life, but she doesn't know anything
But she's
about
a little
it.
container
Yes.
that is distinctly separate
From
everything else that you've got going on.
Mm.
Yeah, interesting.
It's really amazing. And her toolbox of tools
Mm-hmm.
is really quite different.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember my first session with her, and this was during the day. This might have been more about 10 o'clock in the morning, but I was so heightened. Like now looking back, I mean, I know so much more now about my nervous system.
Yeah.
And she teaches a lot about nervous system and grounding into your body and where are you feeling your energy in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Can you put a colour to it? What's a word that's associated to it? Like, how does it look? How does it feel? Like the density. So we talk a lot about like putting words to our feelings.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first time that I saw her, I was just like in my head. She doesn't record the sessions, which I really wish she did. Lots of these practitioners usually do record them, but it's quite nice that she doesn't, I guess. But if I was to go back and watch it, I think my voice would have been up like this and I would have been talking really fast and was not at all aware of how to be grounded in my body at all. And she asked me, like, how are you feeling now, Chloe? And I'm like, fine.
Great.
And she's like, okay.
Little did you know.
And then she's like,
How amazing, though, that
Yeah.
you've been able to unpack that.
oh, so eye-opening.
Yeah.
And I think the amount now that self-awareness I have to be able to regulate my own feelings and emotions and for me to be okay with them all.
Yeah. Yes. And I love that not only do you name the feeling, but you also, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What colour is it? Like, that is amazing. I think we've got such a limited vocabulary when it comes to emotions. Like, you're angry, you're happy, you're sad. There's so much colour between all of those different things, you know?
And how I experience anger could be very different to how you experience
But there's
anger
also,
in your body.
There's also a lot of other words,
And true.
around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty shit with the synonyms for anger,
Well,
but
there's a great feelings wheel which
yes,
I can share, and it talks about. We can pop it in the show notes.
Yeah. That's
and it talks
beautiful.
about, actually, yes, you've got these core feelings, which are things like,
Brene Brown actually has a beautiful Atlas of the Heart. I don't know if have you read that or have you watched her series?
I've heard about it, but I've never
So she
done
actually deep dives into different emotions and talks you through them. So she, for instance, talk about awe and wonder and like despair and actually like tells you what they are because we all not diagnose, but kind of.
We don't know how to name things, yeah.
We don't know how to name.
So look at this one here. So with angry, you could be let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, critical.
Yes.
Then the next layer, is it betrayed? Are you let down because you've been betrayed or disrespected? Are you humiliated because you've been disrespected or ridiculed? Are you bitter because you're indignant or violated? So it's basically going down, taking that emotion further and further and naming it and being okay with that.
Totally.
I love that.
Oh, so great. This wheel is amazing, actually. I really love that. I'm going to print that out.
And even when you talk about it with other people, like, I mean, Hugh and I, we're seeing a couples counsellor at the moment, which I'll talk about in a future episode. But a lot of it is, actually naming the feeling and going a bit deeper than, I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm fearful.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, this is about
No,
experience.
this is great. No, and I think that this is awesome for us to all have in front of us because definitely I just talk about I'm feeling angry but are you really feeling angry or are you feeling disappointed or are you feeling jealous or are you feeling,
hostile? Are you feeling withdrawn?
Yeah, annoyed.
Yeah.
Which is an outset from that core feeling.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so you name your feelings.
So, often she'll ask me, what's been going on. So, it's definitely like a therapy session for sure. But then how I feel like it kind of is different, so that first one, she was just talking to me about where I'm at and kind of getting a vibe for me as a person. But my energy was really heightened and she took me through some different practices to ground my energy. which I'm going to take us through one of the grounding practices as our little end meditation today.
Awesome.
Which is really beautiful. So she, kind of teaches these different ways to just kind of settle back in and kind of, I guess, get to that homeostasis or a place where you feel like you're not in that flight or fight.
Yeah, you're safe.
Sympathetic nervous system, and you're back into your parasympathetic nervous system. So, she kind of brings that into it. But other ways that she's worked with me is when I did my psychedelic trip journey, I can't remember if I shared this with you, but like in big, bold letters, shame came up.
Yeah.
Did I say? I can't remember, but it was like kind of like, even like in bold, you know how when you're a kid?
I don't think we talked about the shame.
Oh,
no.
Okay. It was like big, bright. You know when you're a kid and you do that bubble writing?
Yeah.
It was written in that, and it was like coming at me, like shame, 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 shame. Anyway, so I went back to her. So often there'll be things that has happened in my life that I would take to my session with her, and she will help me move through those different feelings or limiting beliefs. So I took shame to her and feeling shameful about many different things. I didn't know where that had come from, but she helped me move through that by using a tool that is called the magic box.
Oh,
magic boxing.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of this
no.
before?
Well, I may have, but not by that name.
Yeah. So
Tell
it's
us.
like basically used to like kind of clear up your mind. So basically, like in your mind, you have like, I guess these like stories that you tell you over and over in your mind. You might not even know that you tell yourself these stories, but your subconscious holds onto these stories. And so basically it's an act to clean up that gunk that's in your mind.
I've got a lot of gunk.
Yeah, so much gunk. I have so much gunk. We all have so much gunk. And move through it, move past it. So basically like do the grounding practice, which I'll do with you in a minute. And then you set a timer for a couple of minutes and you hold your hands in front of your torso with your palms facing together. So like you're like holding a box, and you repeat out loud in front of you all the times and all the ways that I have felt ashamed, all the times and all the ways that I have felt ashamed. And you keep saying it until the timer goes off.
Oh.
So random.
Yeah.
But then you get your box and you dump it, you dig a hole and you dump it into a 50-foot
I like that.
hole in the ground.
Yes.
And then you clap your hands. You release yourself of that. So if you feel like there's more shame there, I repeated it. So I think in the end I did that practice 3 times over with her, because I felt like each time she would ask me some questions after, and it was still there. Like I still felt that energy.
Yes.
And so, all the times and all the ways I felt ashamed. And then you keep repeating. But you can put that followed by all the times and all the ways. You can follow by whatever phrase you're working through.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All the times and all the ways I have
felt humiliated.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and so how did you feel after that?
So light.
So
light. I felt hungry. This has happened a couple of times with her too. So I either needed to go to the
it's like
toilet.
5 in the morning and you're like, no.
Well, yeah, true. Could be. But I actually don't get hungry in the morning usually.
Yeah.
But so for me, it was weird. I felt like pasta. Like I was craving carbs.
Yeah.
Other times after seeing her, I've like needed to go to the toilet.
Yes.
Do a number 2.
Oh, okay. Just get
Sorry
it out.
for oversharing.
No.
But
we talked about my number 2 a lot the other day.
Clearing out your gunk.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. And she just uses this, like she just listens, and then she's so great at, I guess, paraphrasing what you've said and making, she's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you feel that, Chloe.
Yeah. So she's
makes
acknowledging
sense that
it.
you don't want to talk about that right now.
She's validating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that is why I think you feel so seen and heard, which is really what humans are about, right?
Yeah.
Feeling seen and heard and connected.
It's what we all want.
We
want to be understood.
Yeah. So she just, So these practices are just a bit wild, but really profoundly like life-changing.
So how many different exercises like this would you do per session? Or does it really depend what comes up,
It depends
how it
what
comes
comes
up?
up. So that was just that one session was the magic box. And then we've done cord cutting.
Okay.
Have you heard about cord
No.
cutting? So basically in any interaction that you're in, you are taking on energy from that other person, right? So, we've got our aura. We about, 1 foot out from us or all the way around.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. You don't know that?
No.
Energetic aura?
No.
Well, yep, you've got your aura.
Okay,
I've
so
got my aura. Our auras are like pretty much in each other's aura at the moment. But basically, the cord cutting practice helps you disconnect from these energetic connections that aren't serving you. So when you like catch up with someone and you just like feel a bit like off, maybe
Yes.
when you
Yeah.
like leave that, and it's not, maybe it has been some things that you've been talking about, or it might just be that their just energy is a bit off, and you can feel that in your body, and you just want to get rid of it.
I don't want to take it on.
No, so it's like literally hands out in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Palms facing you, and you're slicing the air in front of you, and you're cutting, like visualizing cutting the cords of that connection.
Oh, I like that.
It's really good. You just have to do a couple, it doesn't matter, and you can do it fast,
My
slow,
point.
whatever.
Yep.
But just cutting like a blade, you're cutting it. You're not going to cut. Don't fear about you're going to cut any like love or. It's
Oh, no,
not
we're just
that.
cutting
You're
the-
just cutting the
yes.
gunk.
Yes.
You're getting rid of the crap.
The
so
cobwebs.
making like 3 to 5 passes across the front of your body, and then you gather up all the cords. And what do we do it?
Put them in the 50-foot
We
hole.
fucking put them in the hole. And then
So does anything
Done.
come out of the 50-foot hole though? Is that a concern for later?
no, you could just bury it over if
Okay.
you wanted.
All
Yeah.
right. So it's not like we're burying the emotion. We're saying goodbye and then we're disposing
Well,
of
it's
it.
just not serving you.
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you don't want to hold it.
Yep.
You just want to get rid of it, say
Yeah,
goodbye, and
yeah.
move on.
And we'll export it to another country to deal with our waste.
Someone else can deal with the waste.
Yeah.
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 So she's just all these different things that are so easy to use and to do
In the moment.
in the moment. Yeah. So you could cord cut all the fucking time during the day. Cut.
So riddle me this.
Yeah.
So I am on a lot of Zoom calls or
Yes.
video calls.
Uh-huh.
So my aura is not touching no one.
No, but you're still getting
But
the
I'm still
energy.
getting it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so even on like a video
Yes,
call, that's
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Phone call,
Yep.
Zoom call.
So it's almost like
person,
saging our
person.
energy in a way,
Yes.
but with our hand, with our fruit ninja
Yeah.
hands.
It's just being intentional, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of acknowledging that there might have been some gunkiness. It's not serving me. I want to get rid of it. Chuck it in the hole.
I love that.
So anyway, she is just, I've had other experiences with her where I've laid down as well. So for these kind of ones, I've just been sitting up, we've been talking, we've done journaling and moving through, written word. But then another one, which was really quite amazing, was I was laying down and she just did an energy clearing or cleansing of me. So not really anything in particular, but just kind of shifting any gunk in around my body.
Yeah.
And when she was doing that, so she's just like, Chloe, okay, lay down, turn your screen off so that she can't see me, I can't see her. And she's just like, you'll hear some like claps and some tings and some like random noises. And I'm laying there. So I don't know if this is like Reiki.
It sounds a bit like it.
Similar,
like, like
maybe.
tapping into the universal energy and doing like a remote session.
Yes.
Yes.
I think there's some of this in there because I've never had Reiki before with someone. So this is when I was reflecting on my sessions with my energy coach. I was like, maybe it's like Reiki.
Yeah.
So what I would feel is different sensations in different parts of my body. So like I had a real tightness in my shoulder, then it went down to my ankle, then it moved up my body, like grumbling of the tummy and just like a bit headachy and then she just was like, okay, Chloe, we're finished now for today. And I feel lighter.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Amazing. So how long do these sessions go for?
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Cost?
Well, it's included in my business
Okay.
coaching, but I think that you can. We will still link her because anyone can see her too. I don't know, maybe around 160, maybe.
Okay.
For an
Maybe we
hour.
should bring her on as a guest.
Oh,
for
she
season
is
2.
just so great. Honestly, I think everyone would froth.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's
Very
really cool. Really
And so where do you do it? So you said you do it in your house. Do you have do you worry that other people are going to listen to the session?
cool. I definitely want to be on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you're doing it at 5 a.m. in the morning, or does that not come into play? Like you're
no, I
quite-
definitely thought about it. I think for that one, I knew it was going to be the energy. I wanted the energy clearing, so I knew I was going to be laying down for that. So that wasn't so much. Our house is really open. Yeah, I would definitely be thinking about the space. You don't want your kids running in or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing, like the only thing I think about seeing practitioners online is just making sure that you are in a space that is safe.
Yes.
Like I've had some conversations before with my psychologist, and I don't necessarily want anyone else to hear those conversations, even if it's Hugh. You know, I want to, or sometimes that's fine, I don't care, but I think it's important that you have a space that is your space. Mm-hmm. No one else's energy is going in there, and you're dedicating that time to,
I would 100%
to do that on your own.
recommend that for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how do we find one of these people? She sounds like quite an enigma.
I think that she's she's an enigma.
Yeah. So maybe again through word of mouth.
Yeah, I think word of mouth. This one's a bit different only because I don't really like, if you look up energy coach, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a bit of a...
My thoughts exactly when you said, Steph, we're going to go about
We're going to talk about my energy coach. You're like, well, okay, what is that? And I've even looked at her, like the website, and it doesn't really...
yeah, so maybe it's a word of mouth kind of
I think it's
situation.
a word of mouth situation.
Yep.
Yeah. But just, there's some amazing people out there, isn't there? You know, just with so many different skill sets and things that you just wouldn't, I don't know, like I just wouldn't have thought it was going to be so helpful.
Yeah, and so this is something, so this is one of your regular sessions. So you do this monthly, you do...
And I think, so I see my business coach like 6 monthly intervals, and so it's part of that.
Yep.
But I feel like I would, if I stopped my business coaching, I feel like I would continue this.
Yes.
It's really,
It's in your healing toolkit or your self-care toolkit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, as I said, I liken it to maybe a therapist with a different sphere of tools.
Yeah. And do you line this up with the time of your cycle or with...
I haven't done that. It might be good to do that.
Yeah.
You always ask good questions like that, don't you?
I didn't ask what you're wearing this time because...
Just normal, everyday clothes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something funny. So when ages ago, it was probably about 6 months ago now, when we were talking about doing the podcast, it was this session that you told me about when I was like, wow, we need to talk about this. It was I think she just cleared your energy that morning or something.
She'd done the laying down.
Yeah, and you sort of said, oh my God, I did this amazing thing. And I was like, wow.
I don't know if I've really explained how amazing it was right today, but...
Well, it's hard to.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I take notes after and I've kind of gone back over it, but you do kind of lose the powerfulness.
And that's okay because it's about you.
Yes.
And the connection that you have and how it's serving you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So some of these things are hard to articulate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to give the fullness of the experience, I think, because I'm the experiencee. Yeah. Yeah. But I hope I've shared enough.
No, I think that's... Yeah. And thank you for those tools.
Magic
exercises that you've
core
taken
cutting.
us through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'll take you through a little grounding practice to finish us off today. You might want to be sitting down for this. If you can, your feet on the floor. So I want you to take your left hand and...
This is where the trouble begins.
Okay.
I'm one of those people. I don't know my left
I'm so
and right.
bad with my left. So I do my L.
Yep.
Make sure,
Got it.
So you two peace fingers and we're going to put them under your nose and then the right palm to the back of your neck. Then I want you to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and then just take a couple of deep breaths there. Next one, if you grab your left earlobe, so remove your arms from there, your left earlobe with your right hand and then your right earlobe with your left hand, hold on to them And take a few deep breaths in that position. And then cross, this is the last position, your right wrist over your left wrist and your left ankle over your right ankle. And take a few deep breaths there. Beautiful. So do this anytime you're feeling unfocused, a little bit spacey or disconnected from your body and could use some extra calm.
I do feel grounded.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
I feel calm.
Yeah, it's really. I don't know whether it's the crossing of the your midline.
Yeah.
And that the crossing, I think maybe is something that's quite powerful, but it's really cool.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Selfish Podcast with Chloe and Steph. If you've got any feedback, if you've got any modalities you want us to explore, if you've got any articles that you want us to look into, please do drop into our DMs. We've also got an email address that you can email us at, which is selfishthepodcast@gmail.com. Our Instagram is the.selfish.
The.selfish
podcast. And we've also got a Facebook group, so if you search for the Selfish Podcast with Chloe and Steph, you can come and join our beautiful selfish community.
Yeah.
Please rate us, give us a review, tell your friends, and thank you for listening. And thank you, Chloe, for sharing.
My pleasure. See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.